day, guys. So welcome to today's topic. Today we shall be looking at what's problem leading to simultaneous equation. However, I may not solve all the problems you are seeing. We have 6 problems to look at. Some I will just interpret, and the reason for that, I think, because it's all about you getting to form the equation. I think that's where the problem lies for most of us. Because I've actually solved so many problems on simultaneous equations, simultaneous questions that involves fractions, which are simultaneous equations as well. I've also solved exponential functions, which are simultaneous equations. So I don't want to waste time on this video trying to solve against simultaneous equations. So the most important part we shall be looking at is how to form the equations correctly. Some I will solve to the end, and some I won't solve. It's just about forming the equations, and I will explain to you what and what you should do. Okay. Again, something very much important. If you get to see the other videos I've done, the YouTube channel was just get started. However, I've decided to change that due to 1 or 2 reasons. Okay, when I checked YouTube deeply, I was able to find out something which has led me to change the channel to Madi Jibo Math channel. So the YouTube name now is Madi Jibo Math channel. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's get into it. So for you to form equations, of course, I've explained this in so many of my videos already. So I think I don't need to waste time on that. Okay, but equations in general, all problems leading to equations in general, whatever equations, be it linear, quadratic, or simultaneous, it's all about you representing numbers you don't know for letters. Okay, so you represent numbers you don't know for letters. So you take letters to represent particular numbers. Okay, you take variables to represent particular numbers. So at the end of the day, whatever you represented, and once you get that answer, it's just about the number you are thinking of. Okay, so that's it. So let's look at the first question there. So I'm using this side to solve. So just like I told you, for some, I will solve everything, okay? For others, I will just set up the equation, okay? So the first question they ask is, the sum of 2 numbers is 37. 5 times the smaller number exceeds 4 times the larger by 5. So there are words here we need to understand. This one, okay? Exceeds 4 times the smaller by 5. Find the numbers. You don't know the numbers, the 2 numbers, okay? So what you should do is to take letters to represent those numbers. That's your initial assumption, okay? So you will say let's say x and y represent the smaller and larger number respectively. Okay, so you know the smaller number will be x and the larger number is going to be y. Okay, so now the first question says the sum of 2 numbers is 37. Is means equals to sign, so the sum is plus x plus y equals to 37. Okay, so this will be your equation 1. Now the second part of the question says 5 times the smaller number exceeds. When we say something exceeds in terms of math, it's basically you are saying the sign that should be between the 2 numbers should be a negative sign, meaning minus. Okay, this one exceeds this. Okay, I have more than you. It's just something like that. Okay, so 5 times the smaller number, 5 times the smaller number, and we've said yeah, let the smaller number be x. So 5 times the smaller number exceeds, that's minus, 4 times the larger. Okay, so the larger number will be y. 4 times the larger by 5. By 5 means equals to 5. Okay, so this will be your equation 2. So this will now be x plus y equals to 37, equation 1, and 5x minus 4y equals to 5, equation 2. Okay, so you solve for x and y. Most often I like to use substitution method. Okay, so for substitution method, I'll look at these two equations. Which one is simpler? I'll just look at equation 1. Say from equation 1, I'll make one of the letters the subject. X plus y equals to 37. So if I want to make x the subject, so x then becomes 37 minus y. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just substitute this one into equation. So this become another equation now. So that will be, let's say, equation 3. Okay, so I will say substitute equation 3 into equation 2. Okay, so putting equation 3 into equation 2, wherever I see x, I will now put 37 minus y. So this becomes 5 into 37 minus y minus 4y equals to 5. Okay, so I will then multiply this and this. So 5 times this, 35, carry 3. 5 times this, 15, that gives you 185. Okay, minus 5y minus 4y equals to 5. Okay, so I'll just transpose everything here. So this becomes 185 minus 5 equals to, when I transpose everything here, becomes 5y plus 4y. Okay, so this and this becomes 180 equals to 9y. I need y, so I have to divide by 9. This by 9, this and this goes. So I will then have y equals to 180 divided by 9, which means my y is going to be 9 here into this. That gives you 20 for your y. So now you need to find x. Remember, you've made x the subject here. So substitute y into equation 3. Okay, so meaning your x is 37 minus 20, which is 17. Okay, so meaning your two numbers will be 17 and 20. And let's see, so if you want to prove that, add 17 and 20, you are going to have 37. Okay, and for this other part, 5 times x, and your x here is what? Is 17. So multiply 5 times 17 and see what you have, minus 4 times 20, which is 80. So if you subtract this one, you will get this as the answer. Okay, so just do that. So 4 times this, 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, you mean that 2. 4 times 3, 5 times 7 is 35. Okay, carry 3. 5 times 3, 5 times 1 is 5. You mean that 3, that gives you 85. So you have 85, that means 5 times 17, you have 85 minus 4 times 20, which is 80. So you end up having again 5. Okay, so meaning our answers are correct. So that's it for this question. Let's look at the next question. Okay, so let's look at the second question. Let's just interpret that quickly. So the second question says the perimeter of a certain rectangle is 26. The length of the perimeter of the rectangle is 3 meters more than the width. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. Okay, so when we are done reading the whole question, let's go now and try to interpret the question. Okay, so you don't need to take all information at once. Break it down from sentences, okay, for you to be able to interpret that correctly. So it says the perimeter of a rectangle is 26. And here, there is no way you can be able to solve this. You can solve this one without knowing the formula to determine the perimeter of a rectangle. Okay, so for the dimensions, let's just say let the dimensions of the rectangle be x and y. Okay, so that's the dimensions of a rectangle, meaning let this one be the length and y be the width. Okay, so this the length and this be the width of the rectangle. Okay, you know this is the rectangle, the length and the width or the breadth. Okay, so this is our x and this is our y. Okay, so now that's the first part. Let's go now to interpret the question. It says the perimeter of a rectangle is 26. Is 26 meaning equals to 26? So the perimeter of a rectangle, of a rectangle is what? Is 26. Okay? But what's the perimeter of a rectangle? Formula. It says 2 into the length plus the width. That gives you the perimeter. But remember, you've let L to be x and W to be y. So this becomes 2 into x plus y equals 26. If we divide by 2, this by 2, this and this go. So we have x plus y equals to 13. So that's your equation 1. Okay. Now, the next part of the question says the length of the perimeter of the rectangle is 3 meters more than the width. So the length is 3 meters more than the width. What's the width? The width is y. Okay? It's 3 meters more than the width. The length is 3 meters more than the width of the rectangle. But what's the length? The length is x equals to 3 plus y. Okay? So let's just say this is equation 2. So now we just substitute equation 2 into equation 1. Okay? So substitute equation 2 into equation 1. So wherever we see x in equation 1, we are going to put 3 plus y. So instead of x, it's going to be 3 plus y again equals to 13. Okay? So now this, if we add this, we have 3 plus 2y equals to 13, which is the same as 2y equals to 13 minus 3. So if you subtract that, you are going to have 2y equals to 10. Divide also by 2, this by 2, this and this goes. So you have y equals to 2 here, 1 into this is 5. Okay? So that's the width. It's 5. Therefore, the length, we say, is 3 meters more than. So that's going to be 3 plus 5, which is 8. Okay? So that would be your length. So the dimensions of the rectangle will now be 8. So therefore, the dimensions now going to be 8 meters by 5 meters. Now, if you go back to the question and see whether your answers are correct, you find out that this is 2 into the length is 8 plus 5. 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 times 2, you are going to have 26, which is the perimeter of the rectangle. Okay? So that's it for the second problem. So just like I okay, so let's look at the third question, number 3. It says the sum of two numbers is minus 5. When twice the first number is added to the second number, the result is minus 2. What are the numbers? We don't know the numbers. Okay, fine. So the same thing, we take letters to be the numbers. So we say let A and B to be the two numbers. Okay, so the sum of two numbers is minus 5 when twice the first number. So in accordance, this is the first number and let's say B is the second number. Okay, so the sum of the two numbers is sum. You add, so that's going to be A plus B is minus 5, which is equation 1. The other part of the question says when twice the first number, 2 times A is added plus to the second number is B, the result is minus 2. So that's equation 2. So this one, if you simplify, that's 2A plus B equals to minus 2. So that's it. You have 1 and 2 from equation 1. So if you are using, let me just use the elimination method here quickly, because the reason why I don't like the elimination method, I hate the multiplication. So equation 1 is A plus B equals to minus 5. Equation 2 is 2A plus B equals to minus 2. Equation 1, equation 2. So when you want to use elimination, you have to see that either this variable or this variable, the coefficient has to be the same. That means the number, okay, might not be the, how can I say it's exactly, because most often we do say the coefficient has to be the same. But now let's imagine if this is plus 2 and this is minus 2, the coefficients are never the same. Okay, so let's just say the magnitude. Is that even correct? So the numbers, yeah, okay, have to be the same basically. So what we do, that's one thing, and you have to see that again, not only the numbers, okay, their signs need to be different. So in that case, if you have plus 2 minus 2, that means you are having 0. Okay, so for us to do that, since we have B and we have B here, but yet we cannot cancel this one, we cannot eliminate them, we have to see that one of these numbers should carry a negative sign. So for us to do that, we can just multiply throughout equation 1 by a negative sign. So now if we do that, we say 2A minus A, that gives you A. Okay, and this is plus B minus B, that's 0 equals to, this is minus 2 plus, because remember minus times minus will now give you plus. So minus 2 plus 5, that gives you 3. So that's your A. So find B. What you do, you look at one of the equations. So substitute A into equation 1. Okay, substitute A into equation 1. So if you substitute A into equation 1, that gives you A plus B equals to minus 5. But A now is 3 plus B equals to minus 5. So this gives you B equals to minus 5 minus 3, which is minus 8. Okay, so now you always want to see if your answer are correct, and that's the only way you can do that. You have to check whether when you substitute the variables into the equations you set up initially, that your left hand side has to be equals to the right hand side. So now if we look at this, A is 3 and B is minus 8. So 3 minus 8, you are going to have 5. And so 2 times the first number added to the second number is minus 2. So let's see, 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 8, you are going to have minus 2. So So meaning our answers here as well are correct. Okay, so that's it. So let's look at the next problem. Okay, so let's look at the number 4 problem. Okay, so it says Jibrila bought 6 books and 10 pencils from the store. Aminata bought 3 books and 22 pencils of the same kind from that store. If each of them paid 1.7 million for the items, find the cost of each pencil, each book, 2 books, and 4 pencils. Okay, so now we come back to the question. It says Jibrila bought 6 books and 10 pencils from the store, and each of them cost. So we have to know the cost of a pencil and a pen and book. Okay, so let's the cost of one book and one pencil be F and G respectively. Okay, so the cost of a book is F and the cost of a pencil is G. So now let's try to interpret the question. It says Jibrila bought 6 books. So Jibrila 6 books. Books now, the cost is F multiply and okay and 10 pencils. So that's 10 multiplied by G, and each of these items, the total cost is 1.7 million. So 1.7 million. So this becomes 6G, 6F plus 10G equals to 1.7 million. So that's equation 1. The same thing again for Aminata, who bought 3 books and 22 pencils. So again, 3 books, 22 pencils will be again the same cost, 1.7 million. That's equation 2. Okay, so all you have to do now is just to solve these equations. So let's say from equation 2, from equation 1, equation 2, whatever method you want to use, elimination or substitution. Okay, say from equation 1, as I told you, I like to use elimination method. I like to use substitution rather. So this is 6F plus 10G equals to 1.70. So if I want to make F the subject, this becomes 6F equals to 1.70 minus 10G. Divide both sides by 6. The whole of this by 6. So this and this goes. So F equals to 1 over 6 into 1.70 minus 10G. So that would be equation 3. So all you have to do now is to substitute equation 3 into equation 2. Okay? So substitute equation 3 into equation 2. So wherever you see F in equation 2, you write 1 over 6 into 1.70 minus 10. So that's what you have to do. Okay? So this becomes 3 into 1.70 minus 10 G all by 6 plus 22G equals 1.70. So if you want to take this one, you don't even need to divide here by 1 for you to find the LCM. All you have to do, multiply throughout by 6. So you multiply this one by 6, this again by 6, this again by 6. Okay? So that if we just bring this one here, so as I was saying, you multiply 12 by 6, this by 6, this by 6. So that's going to be 3 into 1.70 minus 10g all divided by 6. So you multiply this by 6 plus 22g. You multiply this again by 6 equals to 1.70. You multiply this by 6. So what I've done actually, I know how to divide this by 1. You find the LCM is going to be 6. 6 into 6 is 1. 1 multiplied by this, you are just going to have this plus. Here, remember, you are going to have 1 as a denominator. So 1 into 6 is 6. 6 times 22, we have 22 times 6. And at the end of the day, what you are going to do, you are going to cross multiply. So you have to multiply again by the denominator 6. So whenever you just want to skip that part where you have to divide, here finding the LCM, just multiply by the highest denominator here. So here by 6, this by 6, this by 6. Okay? So that's exactly what I've done. So now this and this cancel. I'm still going to have 3 into. So I'll then have 3 into 1.70 minus 10g plus 22. So I have 22, 6 times 22g equals to 1.70 multiplied by 6. So now I'll start multiplying this. So I have 1.70 multiplied by 6. That gives you 10.2. So this you are going to have 10.2 minus this is 30 plus. So you multiply this. This is 132. Let's confirm that. 22 multiplied by 6. You have 132 equals to. So remember, when you multiply, this was 10.2, so that should be 20.4. So let's multiply 1.70 multiplied by 6. So 3 multiplied by 1.70. Okay, this one was 5.1. 5.1, and this is 10.2. Okay, so now all you have to do, just collect like terms. So you add minus 30 here, g plus 132, g equals to 10.2 minus 5.1. So this one, I know if I subtract, I'm going to have 5.1. Now this, so you are going to have 132 minus 30, you have 102. So 102g equals to, this is 5.1. We divide by 102, this again 102. So this and this go. So your g equals to, so you divide that 5.1 divided by 102. Use your calculator. So that will be 0.05. This is 0.05 billion. So let's find g by using equation 3. Okay. So you substitute g into equation 3, which is f equals to 1/6 into 1.70 minus 10. Then g now is 0.05, close the bracket. Okay, so that's it. So let's clear the bracket there. So that's going to be f equals to 1/6 1.70 minus, so you multiply 0.05 times 10. Yeah, we need to have 0.5. So this gives you 0.5. Okay. So if you multiply that, this is now going to be, so I'm just going to put everything inside the calculator and see what you are going to have. Okay. So this gives you you have this. You have 1 divided by 6. You open bracket. 1.70 minus 0.5. Close bracket. So you are going to have the first answer. You are going to have 0.2. So F is 0.2. Okay, Leon. Now, if you want to prove your answers, so therefore, the question says find the cost of each pencil, each book, and 2 books and 4 pencils. So each pencil will cost, remember what we left for a pencil. The pencil was G. Okay, so each pencil will be, what's G? 0.05 Leon. Okay, and each book will be 0.2 Leon. Okay, 2 books and 4 pencils. 2 books now, remember, was F, and 4 pencils. Pencils is represented as G, so that means 2 into your F is 0.2 plus 4 into 0.05. Okay, so multiply that. That gives you 0.2 times 2 plus 4 multiplied by 0.05. So everything will be 0.6 Leon. Okay, so if you want to prove your answers, just bring them here. You have 6 times F. F is 6 times F 0.2 plus 10 times G is 0.05. 0.05. And press your answer. You are going to have 1.70. Okay, so that's it for this particular question. So the other 2 questions, basically these ones I'm not going to solve to the end. I'm just going to interpret them. Okay, of course, let's look at the 5th and the 6th problem. So just like I told you, I'm not going to solve these problems to the end. You have to do that yourself. At least that's one way you can keep yourself busy. Okay, so let's look at this one. Says 350 people watch a beautiful contest. Some paid 20 Leon each, while others paid 30 Leon each. The total amount collected was 8,800 leons. Okay, find how many paid the 2 different rates. So basically you need to find the number. How many people pay the 20 and how many pay 30. Okay, so you don't know the amount of people that pay 20 each. You don't know the amount of people that pay 30. Okay, so that's what we are going to look at. Okay, so let the number of people, the solution, you say let the number of people that paid 20 leos and 30 leos be X and Y respectively. Okay, so the number of people that pay 20 leon going to be X, and those that pay 30 leons are going to be Y. Now let's go back to the question. It says 350 people watch a pitiful contest. 350. So meaning the total number of people that pay the 30 and those that pay 20 will be 350. So that means you are going to have X. Sorry. So you are going to have X plus Y equals to 350. So that's like your equation 1. The sum of the number of people that pay 30 and those that pay 20 going to be 350. It's actually somehow tricky. Now let's go to the second part. Some pay 20 each. So some pay 20 each. So those that pay 20, we've let that to be x each, okay, plus those that paid 30 each, that's y, number of people that pay 30 each, number of people that pay 20 each, and the amount collected is 8,800. So that's be your equation 2. Okay, the total number of people is this: 20 each and 30 each pay to a sum that was collected, which resulted to 8,800. Okay, so all you have to do is just going to be x plus y equals to 350, and this is 20x plus 30y equals to 8,800 lambs. So you have equation 1, you have equation 2. Solve equation 1 and equation 2 using either elimination or substitution method, whichever you are comfortable with, okay, and see what you have for x and what you have for y, okay, and that will be how many people pay the two different rates, okay. So those that pay 20 and those that pay the 30 rate. So that's it. So from equation 1 here, make x the subject. So if x is the subject, this is 350 minus y, this will be equation 3. Substitute equation 3 into this, you have 20 into 350 minus y plus 30 y, okay, equals to 8800. So you just multiply this and solve for y, then you substitute into this, solve for x. So that's it. Yes, so let's finish up with the last problem and we'll say goodbye to this topic, subtopic, okay? So it says the total age of two sisters is 108. One is 18 years older than the other. Find the ratio of the age of the older to that of the younger. So it's actually simple. Okay, so we don't know the two sisters, their ages. Okay, so we just take x and y, or a and b, whatever letters. So x is going to be the age of the older one. So this is older sister. Okay, and y will be the younger sister. Okay, so the total ages of two sisters, that's going to be x plus y, is equals to 108. That's equation 1. The second part of the question says one is 18 years older than the other. Okay, one is 18 years older than the other. So if x here being the older one, so we say x, that's going to be x is, one is 18 years older than the other. So it's going to be 18 plus y. So one is 18 years older than the other. Okay, so this will be your equation 2. So from this, you already have x here. So you just substitute equation 2 into equation 1. So wherever you see x, you put 18 plus y plus this y now equals to 108. So this becomes 2y equals to 108 minus 18. Do that, you are going to have something like is it 90? Yes, I'm sure. So you have 90 and divide, you're going to have 45 for y. So for x, you add 45 to this, you get your answer. And that's it, okay? So thank you for being with me so far. I do appreciate the effort and time. I'm sure you must have learned something. However, I will ask that you please subscribe to the channel, share the video to other viewers out there who may need this content, okay? So thank you. Give the video a thumbs up so YouTube will recommend this to other viewers out there. Thank you so much. I'm grateful.